Hi guys, welcome to those of you who have joined. Just going to give the others a couple more minutes to log on, and we are going to be talking about present value annuities today. I hope everyone's had a good Tuesday so far. Just try and find the chat so that you know where that is. Make sure everyone's happy with it. If you want to check your sound, you're welcome to check your sound. Remember, in the chat, you can also ask me a question directly. So if you are unsure about something and you don't want to unmute yourself and ask it in the lesson, you can just send a message to me directly and I can see your question and then I can answer you. So you don't need to feel embarrassed. Okay. Okay, let's jump into this. I'm just going to turn off my video so that I can turn my screen around. And let's get going. Okay, present value annuities. So in our lesson last week, Thursday, losing track of days, we did future value annuities. And when we were talking about future value, we were talking about things that we're saving up for. So something that's going to be happening later down the road, something that's happening in the future. And today's lesson, we're going to be talking about present value annuities, and present value annuities are something that's happening. So we have a big lump sum of money and we're going to slowly either pay off a loan or reduce money over time, but it's going to be a lump sum in the beginning that then changes over time. So present value annuity, let's just break this up a little bit. Again, if we see the word annuity, we must realize we're going to have regular fixed payments, okay? Or we're going to be taking money out regularly. So it's going to be a regular thing that we see. And then when we see the word present value, words that we should be thinking of are really the most important one is loan. When you see the word loan, and that's being paid off over a long period of time, we should be thinking present value annuity. Okay, so let's go through this formula. Now, I recommend that you all should have your calculators with you. You should all have a pen. You should all have a piece of paper. And this is definitely, take this moment to write down this formula because we're going to be using it a lot today. So our present value is equal to X, 1 minus 1 plus I to the power of negative N all over I. And these are letters that we spoke about in our lesson last week. X was our monthly payments, or whatever, how often, whatever our fixed payment, whenever we make that payment, sometimes quarterly, sometimes half a year. Ooh, just zooming all over the place. N is the number of payments, okay, or the number of times interest is added, whichever way you want to think about it. And then I was looking at our interest. And in this case, if we had a loan or like a lump sum of money at the beginning, that would be our present value. Okay, I'm just going to give you a minute to make sure everyone has that written down on your piece of paper or on your book in front of you so that you've got it as we work through this formula. Okay, let's have a look at our first question. Okay, so example 1. A loan is taken out and repaid over 5 years with equal quarterly payments of 2,450 Rand. If interest is charged at 8% per annum compounded quarterly, what is the loan? So the first question I'm asking you here is, what would be my N value in this question? So would my N value be 5? Would my N value be 60? Or would my N value be 20? And I would like for you to give me your answer in the chat. So if you think N would be 5, you're going to say A. If you think N would be 60, you're going to say B. And if you think N would be 20, you're going to say C. And you can just give me your answer in the chat. Read through the question again if you need to. And remember, N is the number of times we're making our payments. Okay, 20, C, C. Let's see if we have any other answers. Also C. Okay, so we have a resounding C. Everyone seems to be very happy with it. Let's hope you're right. Let's go through this question. Okay, so let's write out our grocery list. So I think so that's important information. So the first thing is that the loan was taken out and we have, oh goodness, we've got 5 years to pay it and we're making quarterly payments. So that means I'm making 4 payments a year. That's what that's meaning. So 4 per year. And I've got 5 years for me to repay this loan. So you're absolutely right. My N value is going to be 20 because it was 5 years times 4, which is 20. Beautiful. Okay. Your X value, that is your regular payment. So that's going to be your 2,450 Rand. Your interest is 8% compounded quarterly. So I'm going to write that as a fraction as 8% compounded quarterly, so over 4. Now that you have all of that information, can you please find me my present value of this question? And if you feel comfortable, you can unmute yourself and tell me your answer. And if you don't feel comfortable, you can just chuck your answer in the chat for me. So put it into your formula, get your calculators out, and see if you can work out this present value. And if you have questions or something you're sure about, then just let me know. I'm going to write some things on here on the side to help you, and I'm going to write the formula out here just in case anyone missed it at the beginning of the lesson. Okay. I've got the formula there. I've got some information. Okay, we have our first answer of 3,674 and 86 cents. Let's see if anyone else gets that answer, if you get something different. Thanks for putting your answer in the comments. I must say, my answer was just a little bit more, not a lot more, but a little bit more, that I could have also inputted it into my calculator wrong. So I'm going to re-put it into my calculator just to check. Ah, Krabo, I got the same answer as you. So now I feel a little bit more confident. Okay, so once we put everything in, I'm just going to write it into our formula over here. Just a quick note to everyone, when these are marked in your exams, you don't get a mark for writing this formula over here. You don't get any mark for writing it out. You only get a mark for the substitution and for your final answer. So don't waste time with things like that because you don't need to. So we've got 2,450 and then 1 minus 1 plus 8% over 4 to the power of negative 20. And that's all going to be over 8% over 4. And I get the same answer as Karabo, which was 4,000. Oh, sorry, not 4,000, 40,061 Rand and 1 cent. Okay. Can I get an idea in the comments how you found this question? So like, if you get the wrong answer, that's okay. The most important step that I care about is that you got the step where you showed the substitution. So can you just give me an idea in the comments how you found this question? 0 means you didn't understand anything at all. 10 means you understood it really well. So just give me a number from 0 to 10. Great. Beautiful. Thanks, guys. Okay. You divided the interest by 12. Yeah, it happens. It's one of the most common mistakes because it's like natural instinct to do it by 12. Okay, cool. Let's have a look at our next question. Now, because I'm seeing high numbers here, I feel like I can kind of leave you guys to give this one a try by yourselves. I'm going to read through it and then I'm going to let you do this. So our house costs 1,800,000 Rand. Calculate the monthly repayments if interest is added at 14% per annum compounded monthly, and the loan must be paid off over 20 years. I want to know what her monthly repayments are going to be. So I've given you 3 options for her monthly repayments. So one of those is definitely right. And I would like you all to give this question a try. And then when you have your answer, you can put it in the chat and we can go through it from there. I'm going to start writing a couple of things on the left just to help you as you work through this, but I'm not going to give you the answer. Okay, so just double check that you have the same information as me for your present value, your interest, and your N. And then you're just going to put that into the formula and find your X for me. Okay, remember, as soon as you find your X, just put your answer into the comments. So A, B, or C. I know this is a long one to type into the calculator, but the more we practice our calculator work, the better we have a chance of in our exam. Okay, we've got our first answer of C. Let's see what the others have to say. Okay, for those of you who, if you're struggling still, I'm just going to start putting it into the formula. Just keep on going if you're still putting it into your calculator. This is not trying to rush you at all. Okay, so we have some more answers of C. and then this will all be over. Okay. So we're getting a couple more C's. Oh, we're all very certain of C. What if C is wrong? I'm hoping for you guys it's not. Another C. Oh. Okay, unanimous C. And that C makes me very happy because C is absolutely our correct answer. So C was absolutely right. Well done. The easiest way to find X in this situation while still maintaining the integrity of our number is to just say the 1,800,000 in our calculator divided by this whole monster over here. And then we'll find our value for X, and you should definitely get your answer of C. Well done. Nice. Okay. Does anyone need me to stay here any longer, or can I move down? Okay, I'm taking the silence as a good thing, so I'm just going to move on. I'm going to move on down. Okay. All right. Shirley buys a car at a cost of 340,000 Rand. She's required to pay a 10% deposit, and then the balance is paid off in equal monthly repayments. Interest is charged at 9% per annum compounded monthly. The first question is determine her monthly repayments if she pays the car off over 5 years. Okay, so can someone tell me what the first thing I would have to do in this question is? Because I have to do something before I can put it into a formula. Oh, I heard someone speak, but I couldn't hear you clearly.
Ma'am, do you first calculate 10% of 340,000?
Thank you. That is glorious. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we want to find out what our deposit is. Excellent. So our deposit is going to be 10% of 340,000. And that's going to give us a nice number of what? What is 10% of 340,000? We should all feel comfortable with that type of question. What would I do there? Can I just check that in my calculator? Do I need to put it in my calculator?
No.
Yes, I don't. I can just take a zero, guys. So it will just be, there we go. So my deposit is going to be 34,000 Rand. That's going to be my deposit. Okay, so my deposit is 34,000. So what do I still owe, or what is my balance? It's going to be my 340,000 minus the 34,000, which was my deposit. And that's going to give me a total of 306 Rand. 306,000 Rand. I wish it was 306 Rand. Does anyone think that they can give me an easier way that I could have done this? A way that I could do this in one step instead of 4 lines? My hint is that it has something to do with the percentage. No takers? I'm seeing a timeline as an answer. I think that was from earlier. Okay, so the easier way I could do this is instead of working out 10% and subtracting 10%, I can actually just work out what is 90% of 340,000. Because if I'm working out what 90% is, that is 100% minus 10%, and that would just give me my total of 306,000 Rand. So you can do it the way on the left, or you could do it on the way on the right. You would get both the same answer. Now that we have the amount that she owes, can everyone please work out what her monthly repayments would be? So think about what your I is, think what your N is, think about what your P is, and then I would love it if someone could talk us through that question. So once you have an answer, you are welcome to unmute yourself and talk us through how to do this question. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what the answer is. And if you got the correct answer, then you should feel comfortable talking me through this. So the correct answer here is 6,352 Rand and 6 cents. So if you got that answer, then can you please tell us how we could get it? Can you just let us know what that process would be? So many people on mute. I wish I could just see your faces so that I could make you answer these questions, because I know you know what they're doing. Okay, let's have a look. So our present value at the moment is our 306,000 Rand. Our X value is the thing that we're not knowing what it is. Then we've got 1 minus 1 plus our interest rate, which is 9% compounded monthly to the power of negative 60. And all of that is over our interest rate of 9% over 12. And now again, like our last question, we're trying to find X. So we're going to say 306,000 Rand divided by this whole thing over here. And we should get an answer of 6,352 and 6 cents. Okay. Okay, I'm hoping that this is going okay so far. All right. So, next one. Shelley buys a car at a cost of 340,000. She's required. What? This is exactly the same question. Oh no, sorry. I remember. I copied it for a reason. Okay. So the balance is paid off in equal repayments. So we have our X value over here, and we have our interest. Now my question is, how much has she actually paid for her car after the 5 years? Okay. So just think about this carefully. She bought the car. She had this loan for the car that she's paying off over a certain amount of time. Remember, she also paid a deposit in the beginning. Can you all try and figure out how much she's actually paid for her car here? My hint to you for this question, and then I'd love it if you put your answers in the chat over there. My hint to you is that this is going to be important. My hint is that your N value is going to be important because that's how many payments you've made. And my hint is that your deposit is going to be important. Those are the 3 things which will help you with this question. And if your answer is around the 400,000, then you're somewhere where you should be. Okay, so give it your best try and then just chuck your answer for me in the chat. Okay, we've got our first answer. I have a very, very similar answer, but it's a little bit different. Can you see, Leigh? Do you have a question?
No.
Okay. Okay. I'm seeing an answer more similar to mine now. There we go. Okay. They're coming in. Good. Okay. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take the X amount because that's what she's paying each month. Good answers coming in, guys. Well done. The amount that she's paying each month is the 6,352 Rand. So we're going to take that. Don't forget the cents because the cents is important. She's made 60 payments of that amount of money. And we have to add, so this is what she's been paying. This is the loan that she's paying. And then we have to add her deposit of 34,000 Rand, because remember, when you make a deposit, you also are paying money into something. You add them together and you should get a total of 415,123 and 60 cents. So 415,123 Rand and 60 cents. Great. Okay, let's try another question. All right. Kanya pays 2,200 Rand into her pension fund. Now remember, pension fund is a fund. So when we stop working, when we retire, we're going to get our pension. That's the money that we've saved up for when we aren't getting a salary anymore. So Kanya pays 2,200 Rand into her pension fund every month for 30 years until she retires at 65. The pension fund earns an interest at 13% per annum, compounded monthly. How much money is in her pension fund on the day she makes her last payment? So my question to you is, which formula should I use here? That's my first question to you. So I want you to think through it, read through the question again, and then I want you to give me your answer as A, B, or C. Oh, sorry, I just see a question here for the last question. I will come back to this, guys. I just want to sort out a question over here. Okay, so for this part, they're asking us how much she actually paid for the car. Okay, and she's making a monthly payment. So every month she's paying 6,352 Rand and 6 cents. So every month she's making this payment, and she's made that payment for 5 years, 12 times every year. So that's why we're multiplying that by 60. Crowboy, is this making sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, beautiful. So that gives us this amount here that she's been paying off of the loan. Then this amount was the deposit that she paid right in the beginning when she got her car. And so we add those two together, and then this is the amount that she'll actually pay for the car.
Oh, okay, I understand. Thank you.
No problem. No rush. Thanks for asking. Okay, so in example 4, we're getting some answers in. They're coming in as B. Do we have any answers other than B, or are they all B? Let's have a look. Okay, lots of B's. I'm just going to wait for a few more people to read through it and give me an answer here. Okay. And I'm very happy with your guys' answer. Well done. It is absolutely B. And the reason it's B is because she's putting it into her account every month. And remember, these are the words that we have to start looking for when we're looking through these questions, because we need to start identifying which formula to use. She's paying 2,200 Rand every single month. And that means that it is an annuity. Okay. And so in this one, it's not a present value, which is what we're looking at today, because she's putting it into something that she needs in the future. She's putting it away for something later. And so we're going to be dealing with a future value annuity, which is what we dealt with in our last lesson. So everyone should be able to work this one out. Can you please find my future value of what's going to be in her pension fund at the end of these 30 years? So just find out what that future value is going to be, and you can put your answer in the chat. CP, that answer is absolutely beautiful. Give yourself a huge round of applause. It is wonderful. Okay, let's write out this information on the right-hand side for those of you who are still sort of trying to get your head around what's going on. Our interest is 13% compounded monthly. Our N, we have 30 years where we're putting away this money, and there are 12 payments every year because it's been compounded monthly. And so that's going to give us 360. The X value, that's our monthly payment, is 2,200 Rand. And so then we get to just chuck it into our formula. So our X value, 2,200, Then we're going to have 1 plus I, which is 13% over 12 to the power of n, which is 360 minus 1, all over I, which is 13% over 12. And all of these questions, I took them from past papers, guys. So you are doing end of year past paper questions right now and you're smashing them. So well done. Okay, and our future value here should be 9621193.52 cents. How amazing is that? Like, that's a lot of money by just putting away regular payments. Okay. Does anyone need me to stay here? Have you got it down? Okay. Cool. All right, this is the second part of the same question. I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger, but we still have the information that we need over there. On the day that she makes her last payment, okay, so she's just made her last payment, she transfers the money into a savings account and makes monthly withdrawals for her retirement. 1 month after she transferred the money, she started making withdrawals and hopes to withdraw money for 20 years and leave no money left in the account. If interest is earned at 15% per annum, compounded monthly, what are her monthly withdrawals? Okay, I know it's a big question and there's a lot going on in it, but we're going to start learning some tools here to figure out how we can break something like this down. Okay, first of all, we've told us that she's transferred the money into a savings account and she makes monthly withdrawals. So from that, we need to realize that first of all, savings account, present value, monthly withdrawals, annuity. Okay, so that's already telling us that we're dealing with our present value formula. And that's important. Next. Oh, sorry, I see a hand. Yeah, Luyanda, how can I help?
Ma'am, can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Ma'am, for the first part of the sum, ma'am.
Yeah.
You substituted 22,000. Can I ask, how did we get that?
This, oh, sorry, I just wrote an extra 0. It was her X value of 2,200.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Sorry, Luyanda. Yeah, I was trying to make her life putting away lots of money each month. Okay, does that make a bit more sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, so in B now, so now we know that we're dealing with a savings account and we know that we're dealing with an annuity. Okay, so we've got a present value annuity situation. 1 month after she transferred the money, she started making the withdrawals and hopes to withdraw money for 20 years. Okay, so that's important for us. And leave no money in the accounts at the end. If interest is earned at 15% per annum compounded monthly, that's also important for us. What are her monthly withdrawals? So what we're going to do is we're going to start making our grocery list here on the side. And we're just going to say what we have and what we need. Okay, so first of all, our N is 20 years and there's 12 payments each year. So we know that our N value is 240. First thing, great. And remember, if you write these values on the side, even if you really make a big mistake when you substitute them in, you will still get marks. So it's in your best interest. Your I value is 15% compounded monthly. So we're going to divide it by 12. Your present value is the amount that we have in that account. And that's what we've just worked out. That's the 9621193.52. That's what we've just calculated because that's what she's putting into her account. And her X value is what we are seeking. Okay. So everyone should feel comfortable with this now. This is our third one of trying to find X. So you should all feel quite comfortable doing this question. This and figuring out those values, that's the hard part, and figuring out your formula. So I want you to all get some calculator practice, get this into your calculators, see how it goes. And when you have your answer, you know the drill, put it into the comments for me. And if you have a question, ask away. I'm here for you. Okay, I'm seeing some answers coming in. Let's have a look. Okay, so in Bali, that's a very big answer. That would be a lot of money to be getting each month. Benedict, this also the answer will be a little bit big for what we would be getting each month. But I'm seeing some other really good answers happening over here. I'm seeing a great one, which is, I'm not going to write the whole thing here for us so that we have some time to go through this. 126,690 Rand and 87 cents. I don't know why I'm saying those other numbers are really big, because that's also a huge number to be getting as a monthly withdrawal each month. Okay, but yes, those of you who got that answer, you are absolutely right. Those of you who didn't, it was probably just a small calculation error, and that'll just take some practice on your calculator. So just keep on trying to put it into the calculator and see how it goes. Okay. This question is one of my sneaky questions. You know how I love a sneaky question. And my question to you is, so let's first read the question. Okay. Naledi buys a new car for 150,000 Rand. She pays off the car with equal monthly installments starting, this is where it gets sneaky, starting in 6 months' time. And she makes 31 payments. If interest is added at 9% per annum, compounded monthly, what is her monthly installment? So, Sibe, do you mind muting your mic for me? That's okay. Okay, so from here, they've told us a little bit. So they were able to help us a little bit by saying that we're going to have the 31 payments down the road. But my sneak attack here is that she's only going to start making the installments in 6 months' time. And what happens to money when it's just sitting in an account and I'm not paying off anything? What do banks love? Banks love interest. They love compound interest. So anytime that a bank tells you, you know what, we're going to do you a favor, we're going to defer your payments, or we're going to have a delayed payment, and you only have to pay us in like 3 years' time. Well, that's ridiculous. 3 months' time. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, that's so great. Thank you so much, bank, because you don't have to pay for 3 months. But really what they're doing is they are just making the loan bigger and bigger and bigger, because it's just going to be adding interest for all of those months that it's just sitting in the account. So if you ever offered a deferred payment, just know that it's not in your best interest, because they are trying to get more money out of you by adding interest. So let's have a look at what this would look like on a timeline. I'm not going to do a whole long timeline situation, but we're just going to assess what's going on. So this is time 0. Time period 1 is where I would have had my first. So this is where I have my 150,000 Rand loan. Time period 1, I would have normally made a payment, and I have that all the way. Shola, I think something's happening to your keyboard because we're getting lots of plus signs happening in the comments. All the way over here. Okay, so let's have a look and see what that looks like. So this would be 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. Okay. What happens now? So she only starts paying installments in 6 months' time. 6 months, that's when she starts paying. Okay. I want you to start thinking, what would be happening in this situation? How long is it going to be sitting gaining interest? What is a normal time period for me to start paying for things? So I'm telling you that the first, how to do a timeline. Sorry, I will come back to that question now, I promise. Okay. The first thing I want you guys to start thinking about in this type of question is, how long is this money sitting in that account gaining interest? And so what would that look like if I did a compound interest formula? So think it through. Think about what that money is going to be. My hint to you is I'm going to have my present value situation sitting over there. And I want you to think about what that looks like. And then from there, I'm going to start making 31 payments. Okay. So I want you to start thinking about what to do. I'm just going to reply to a few people who have sent direct messages, and I will come back to you right now. Okay. All right, those of you who are feeling a little bit confused with timelines, remember that on the app, there's a whole lot of exercises of grade 11 timelines and matric revision of timelines. And so you're welcome to watch those videos to try and get some sort of recap of it. So what's happening here is that my money is just gaining interest for 5 months. It's just sitting in an account gaining interest. Now, the reason I'm not counting this month over here, which seems a little bit sneaky because it is still sitting in my account, is because built into our present value formula is the fact that I would normally only be paying at the end of the first month. Okay, so my money is just sitting in there gaining interest. And the way that we would start looking at that is that we have 150,000. It's sitting in an account with an interest rate of 9% compounded monthly, and it's sitting in there for 5 whole months. So we're going to put it into our compound interest formula and see what that loan is going to be worth. And that A value becomes 155,710 Rand. And I'm going to keep all of my decimal places because we're going to use this value elsewhere. So already the bank has made money from you because you haven't started making your payments. Then for the second part of the question, now we can chuck it into our present value formula. And we're not going to go through this whole process over here because I know you've practiced it lots of times already. But this amount here is going to be your present value amount. Okay, so that's the same amount that's going to go in over there. Then we're looking for our X value. We have 1 minus 1 plus our interest rate, which is 9% compounded monthly. Our time, they already told us there are 31 payments. So that's going to be to negative 31. And all of that is going to be over our interest rate of 9% over 12. And then we're going to do the same thing you've been doing, and you would just take that big sum of money and you would divide it by all of this. Okay, but I'm going to move on just because it's something that you've already seen. So let's have a look. We're going to go through these questions. This is where I kind of want us to end. So we've got a little bit of time. What I've done, because we've now had 3 lessons together and there's a quiz after this lesson that sort of is on all the work that we've covered so far. I've put 3 different questions because one of the skills that we really have to start learning is how to identify what our different questions are asking. What I would love for you to do is to try and work through all 3 of these and see what your answers are, and then we can see how you're doing. So if you are struggling with financial maths, maybe only try one of them and really focus on it and try and make sure you do the best you can at it. If you are finding financial maths really easy and you're enjoying it, then I want you to try all 3 and let's see how all 3 go. Okay, so is my screen not sharing? Sorry guys, it tells me I'm sharing. I'm just happily chatting to you guys without a screen. Sorry guys. Okay, let me just move this around. Okay, can you all see? I'm hoping so. Okay, so these are the 3 questions that I'd like you to focus on. So the first one, after a 2-year investment period, I have 34,567 Rand available. The interest rate in the account over those years was 14% per annum compounded quarterly. What amount did I place in the account at the start? So I want you to think, what type of formula am I going to use here? What's going to be put in where? So that's the first question. Okay, if you're not feeling great with financial maths, that's a good question to start with. Question 2. You would like to save money towards a house and you decide to start saving once you've turned 18. If you hope to have 10,000 Rand, sorry, there's a have missing there. If you hope to have 10,000 Rand available to you when you turn 21.
Ms. G, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
We don't really see anything on your screen. It's just a white blank screen at the moment. Is there any way you can just look into that?
Sorry, guys, it's showing up on my side, so I didn't know. So let me have a look. Let me try share it again. Thanks for letting me know. Let's have a look. Can you see?
Okay, yes, now we see it.
Oh, okay, sorry,
you.
guys. I thought when I asked earlier, I thought that it was there. I'm sorry.
Sure.
Okay. Question 2, you'd like to start saving money towards buying a house. If you hope to have 10,000 Rand available to you when you turn 21, how much should you be saving each month? Your first payment is 1 month after you turn 18 and your final payment is on your 21st birthday. And we've got our interest rates over there. That one's if you're feeling like a little bit in the middle with finance, so not feeling terrible, but not feeling great, then you should try question 1 and question 2. Question 3, Pumla took a mortgage loan of 850,000 Rand to buy a flat and was required to pay monthly installments for 30 years. She was charged interest at 8% per annum, compounded monthly. Calculate her monthly repayments. Okay, so I want you all to have a look at these 3 questions. You need to start deciding which formula are you going to use for each of them, which one is going to make more sense, find out your important values, and then we're going to chat about those different things as we go down. So everyone should at least be comfortable with 1. So everyone needs to give 1 a try for me. Okay, I'm not going to go through the answer, but for question 1, can I get an idea? And if you don't feel comfortable unmuting, can you let me know in the chat which formula should I use for question 1? So should I use future value? Should I use present value? Should I use simple interest? Should I use compound interest? Should I use depreciation? Just tell me what you think it should be. Okay, we have a future value answer. Any other answers? What formula do you think we should use in question 1? Also future value, okay. Anyone have any other ideas for question 1? Okay, so I think the future value is coming out because we're doing something where we're saving money over time. Okay, Mbali, you are absolutely right. What we're going to be doing is just a normal compound interest formula here. And the reason we're going to do a compound interest and not a future value is because we don't have a monthly payment, or we don't have something that we're regularly paying. So it's a lump sum that is just going to be gaining interest to create another sum. So that's why we're going to use compound interest. Okay, so we're going to be using this formula here. A is equal to P1 plus I to the power of N. This is what you have available at the end. So that's your A value. The interest rate is 14% compounded quarterly. So your interest rate is 14% compounded quarterly. We want to know what we had at the start. So we want to know what P is. And it was a 2-year investment. And so our N is going to be 2 years, but there were 4 payments each year. So your N is going to be 8. Okay, well done, Mbali, for seeing that it was a compound. So you can chuck that all into your formula and you can find your p-value. And once you have a p-value, you can chuck it into the comments for me. Let's see what answers we start getting. So if you're around the 26,000 mark, then you should be where you're going. Beautiful, Mbali. That is 100% correct. Beautiful. Okay, so when you start putting this into your calculator, your p-value, so I'm just writing a little short version over here, should be 26,250 Rand and 58 cents. So if you land up getting that, then you are doing great. And then you have got question 1 in the bag. Well done. We've got some more answers coming in and they're all looking beautiful. Nice. Okay, question 2. You would like to start saving money towards a house, and you decide to start saving once you've turned 18. If you hope to have 10,000 Rand available to you when you turn 21, so that would be in 3 years' time, how much should you start saving each month? Your first payment is 1 month after you turn 18, and your final payment is on your 21st birthday. Now that sounds like I'm trying to trick you, but I'm really not, because remember what we spoke about in our last lesson. If it's birthday to birthday, it's actually 13. So if it's 1 month after, and then until the birthday, it's a normal 12 payments in the year. Okay, so in this question, which formula should I use? Compound, simple, future value, present value. Those are your 4 options. Tell me which one you think I should use. So I'm trying to save money. Okay, so we have 1 present value and we have 1 future value. We've got another future value coming in. Okay, so as soon as we see that we're trying to save money or we're trying to have something in the future, we need to think, okay, it's going to be future value. All right. And they're wanting to know in here how much we should be saving each month, which means we are going to be putting in money each month, which means it's an annuity. So it's a future value annuity. Okay. We know that we want to have 10,000 Rand. So the 10,000 Rand is our future value. We know our N value is 3 years, but there are 12 payments each year, so 36. And we have our interest at 6% compounded monthly. So in that case, finding our X value is not so bad. Okay, do you see how finding these types of things is actually the most important thing? Because if you know what you're looking for and you know what formula you're using, it's actually quite nice and easy. So let's just read through our last question, and then I'm going to be passing you guys on to Coco. So Pumla took a mortgage loan of 850,000 Rand to buy a flat and was required to pay monthly installments for 30 years. She was charged interest at 8% per annum compounded monthly. So let's have a look at this one. What formula would I use in this question? Your options: simple, compound, future, present. So think about it carefully. She took out a loan of 850,000 Rand and she has to pay monthly installments for 30 years. Okay, we have a present value. Nice. Okay, great. As soon as we see the words alone and we see the words monthly installments, our brain needs to go present value, because we have a big bulk sum of money that I'm going to pay off over time, and that's going to be a present value. Okay, so let's go through what our values would be here. Our present value is 850,000. Our interest rate is 8% compounded monthly. Our N would be 30 years, but they're 12 payments each year, so it's going to be a big N. And we are trying to find X. So we knew the formula, we have everything else, and just put it into the formula and find what we're wanting. And that is where we are going to be calling it a night. I know I've just thrown a bunch of numbers at you, which is a lot for a Tuesday afternoon. So well done for everyone who came. Well done for those of you who returned. I hope that you've taken something from this, even if it's just helping a little bit with a section you weren't feeling great with. And in our next lesson, we're going to be touching on a little bit of all of these formulas, because we're going to be finding their N values, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm going to pass on to Coco.
Thank you so much, Ms. G. Everyone, thank you again for coming. This is really helpful. At least we're getting really ready for our prelim exams, and I think we're going to crush them when we actually see the finance section. I'm pretty sure you guys are going to have it down pat. Okay, so we're just going to go through a couple of things. I just want to share my screen here quickly. Okay, so we are looking at grade 12 finance, and this is some of the stuff that we've been going through so far. We had a look at lesson 1, which was simple and compound interest. And on Monday, we looked at future value annuities. I hope I haven't got my dates wrong. No, last week, Thursday. Yes, last Thursday, we had a look at future value annuities. And today, which is Tuesday, not Wednesday, we are looking at present value annuities. Okay, and we are going to be introducing something called the leaderboard. Now, what we're looking at here is which of our students have done the most exercises and watched the most videos and done the most lessons on the Watobi app. Now, as you guys can see, Untitled is leading the pack. Well done, Untitled. Very well done. And this is not because Untitled is the brightest and the smartest out of everyone in this group. No, it's because he's tried, or she, I'm not sure if it's a he or a she, they've tried the most examples and they've looked at the most videos and the most lessons, because we know that practicing maths is what's most important for you to understand and be really good at it. So the more you try, even if you're absolutely terrible and you just keep trying, we'll always be there to help you on the other side. If you just chat to one of the tutors and say, please help me, I don't understand what's going on here. I or Teacher Depesh or Teacher Lee will be on the other side to assist you with any questions you might have on financial maths or anything that you're trying. But the leaderboard always counts how many of the exercises Ms. G has asked you to look at on finance you do, and how many of those you're getting really good at. So we're tracking your progress, guys. Go ahead and give them a try. Okay, so the homework that we're going to be looking at for Thursday, we're going to go to finance. As always, you're going to click on topic, go to finance, and this time we're going to be looking at present value Annuities, and the specific exercise we'll be doing is called Summary of Present Value Annuities, the one right there at the bottom. You're more than welcome to go through all the other lessons as well. They will explain a little bit more on what Ms. G was talking about, but the specific lesson she's chosen is a summary of everything that she's covered today. But you can go ahead and look at all the others as well. And I'm hoping to see different names on the leaderboard on Thursday. Let's see how it looks by then. Okay, thank you so much, guys, for joining us today. We are going to see you guys on Thursday, same time, same place. Thank you so much, Ms. G. If everybody could just unmute themselves and say, thank you, Ms. G, for everything that you've done for us today. This was really great of you. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you, Ms. G.
You're most welcome.
Thank you, Ms. G.
Thank you, Ms. G.
Thank you,
Bye,
Ms. G.
guys.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you all on Thursday, same time, same place. Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.